But it says we're going live now, so hopefully,
I think
we
I'll
should.
press OK.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
do
what
it.
I'll do, I'm also going to record this if that's okay. Let's hit record. Okay. Yep, it's fine. Where is it? Record out. There we go. So that should be us live. Just got to make sure it's showing up on my feed. So it's after the technical challenges we've had this evening, then you can't be too sure. Let's see. Are we showing up? Right. They were live. Okay. Well, it says we're live, and I can see us both on the Restream thing. And as far as I'm concerned, on Facebook, this should be broadcasting into the group. I just want to, there we go. No, that's one. Okay, well, hopefully that will be broadcasting live into Facebook. Right, well, we'll just leave it there and see what happens. Good evening, guys, and welcome to tonight's talk. I'm really, really excited about tonight because I'm honored to be joined by a fantastic guest. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for a number of years now, and I'm going to introduce him to you in just a second. But what I wanted to actually do, just before we get into that, because he's got a powerful story to share. And what's inspired me about his story is it's about persistence. And we've looked at this a little bit a couple of weeks ago. I spoke about it, the men's mastermind group that I'm in, and I briefly addressed it on the call that I had with Safi. But persistence is one of those attributes in business that is absolutely vital for our success. Because whatever we're trying to build, there are always going to be challenges that come up, things that don't work out the way we plan. And part of that growth process from going from being a brand new entrepreneur to being someone who's in charge, as my guest tonight has been, of a seven-figure business, it's how well you are able to adapt and pivot at times around challenges that arise. And sometimes these challenges, especially as your business gets big, they can become the challenges grow with the business. And so, what I spoke about a few weeks ago to that men's mastermind group was saying that actually persistence is the training that we go through in our entrepreneurial journey, help us get ready for the responsibility that comes with owning and running a business. When I had James on last week, we touched upon it again, speaking a bit about how once you have a business up and running, then you have people who are dependent on you. I mean, Saul will talk about this tonight. He built his business to seven figures. He had 8 members of staff working for him. That's no small weight to carry, even with a relatively small number of staff, because those people are dependent upon him for their salaries. They are dependent upon him to be making the money so that at the end of the day they can pay their bills. And so we likened it to going down to the gym and walking in there and expecting to bench press 150 kilos on day one. You could give it a try, but you're probably going to crush yourself because that's a heavy amount of weight. And so what you do when you go to the gym, any good trainer will take you through a program that builds muscle incrementally in stages so that as you build, your body adapts and you prepare for that bigger weight, and your body gets used to being able to push bigger weights. And then eventually you can get that 150 kilos and you will be able to press it. But a lot of people can often find themselves in a situation where they're trying to push that weight and they're not ready for it yet. That's actually one of the most devastating things where if you get to success in business and you're not ready for it, you're not ready for the weight of responsibility it puts on your shoulders. That's where many an entrepreneur falls victim. They stumble. They lose what they've built because they weren't ready. And so this skill is something, it takes a lot of patience because business is like that. You've got to face the obstacles and you've got to learn. But I can't remember who it was who said this, but they say, don't pray or don't wish that you had no problems. I wish that you were better, or pray that you're better. Okay? It's good to have problems. It's good to have challenges in business because what they do is they actually help you to learn. If you treat them right, they help you to grow, and that is all foundational to building a successful and lasting business. So that really is a nice introduction, I suppose, to Paul and to his journey, because Saul is, as I say, someone who has been going for a number of years. I don't want to steal his thunder and take away the incredibly powerful story he has to share, but he's been in property. In the UK, he built an estate agency business. He's been in property maintenance. He's now moved into insurance, and he has had his fair share of ups and downs. But the amazing thing is he has taken those lessons, and he now has some incredibly valuable insights, not just to help him continue to build his businesses and pivot to go the way that he'd like to go. And again, I'll pivot about that later on. But incredible insights that he can share with people like myself. And as you know, the whole theme of this group and of the various calls that we have every week is to really highlight the importance of a good network. And when you're in business, just like again, I love the gym analogies. I'm down at the gym most days now, and just like when you're down at the gym, we're competing. The only person we're competing with, or again, really, is ourselves. Okay, I know that in the business you'll have your competitors and there'll be people with similar products or similar services to you, but in reality, your competition, your biggest competition and your main competition is yourself. And as a business owner, as an entrepreneur or a CEO, your main focus is really what can I do today that's better, or am I better today than I was yesterday? And what can I do better today than what I did yesterday? What can our business do better today than we did yesterday? And again, that's exactly what the gym analogy is. Yesterday, you might have only been able to lift 10 kilos, but can you do 12 today? Can you do 14 tomorrow? So this is what happens when you're in a powerful network with people who have walked the path that you are walking. They've experienced what you're experiencing now. They can help guide you through those challenges, just like a good trainer can. Help you to know what to expect, help you to take the right action so you don't get caught off guard. Because again, one of the key reasons that businesses fail within their first 5 years, apart from running out of money, the lack of expert advice. They encounter challenges that they aren't prepared to deal with. And if you have a good network you can go to, got people like this gentleman who's sitting in front of me right now, that you can go to and say, hey, mate, have you been through something? They can actually guide you through those challenges and help you to actually keep hold of your business and move forward. So with that in mind, I've spoken long enough. I would like to take this time to introduce you to my good friend, Saul. Good evening. How are you doing?
Good evening, Michael. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you. It's so good to have you on the call tonight. Thank you so much for making the time to chat with us. It's really good of you, man.
You're more than welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you. So, wow, where to begin? Why don't you? I mean, I've given a bit of an introduction to some of your journey. Why don't you just start off by doing a bit more of an introduction to yourself and tell everyone, yeah, what you do, who you are, and then we'll go into some of the questions I prepared for tonight.
Sure. So yeah, I always like to start probably at the beginning of the journey, which
Good place to start.
which is the best place to start. I just finished my GCSEs, 16 years old, and I was actually made homeless by my family, which is something that actually in future years I've come to thank them about. Um, I was a bit of a terror and I really struggled with rules and authority,
Yeah.
and found myself in a position where one night, a bag of clothes, I'm under a bridge, and I'm like, wow, I suppose this is the start of my adult life. Um, Spent many years sort of wheeling and dealing, making money to eat, to live, to have fun with my friends like a normal 17, 18-year-old. I wanted to go out and socialize, and
Mhm.
I didn't want a job as again, I wasn't really good with authority or having a boss type figure in my life. I then found myself at 21 having my first daughter and thought, wow, I really need to pull myself together here. So I went into the world of a state agency. I learned to drive, and within probably about 4 years, I quickly rose through the ranks there, and I was actually made a partner of the business. I was shareholder.
Wow. Wow.
I think I was about 25, 26, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, Built that business up with the owner working alongside. He was based over in Leicestershire, so I was running a small team of around 4 or 5 people, who are all in their 30s and 40s, and I was a young 25 sort of year old whippersnapper, hungry, just pushing the business every day, and we built a really nice lettings portfolio, had some good successes, and made some good money. Um, I then, as all entrepreneurs, found a niche and a gap in the market, and I thought, hey, let's do it. So I
Mhm.
structured a an exit deal, which paid me over a 12-month period, which allowed me to have a 12-month grace period in my life where I could just be free, build business, and still take a salary from obviously the exit negotiation that I'd made. Um,
Mhm.
Had no money. So I went and borrowed £500 from my lovely mother, and said I've got this dream of building a maintenance company that works specifically for landlords, so a bit of a one-stop shop. I'm going to pull in
Yeah.
the best contractors in the area, and I'm going to use technology to streamline it. And we're going to be fast. We're going to be like Uber. Your maintenance is going to be done before you even know you need it.
Yeah.
And that was a very common theme within the business. Um, Done well first couple of years, couple of modest turnovers, sort of 100K, quarter of a million, and then it really ramped up. I think our best month we done was about 110K, and that was with sort of 8 staff members, big office, in-house accountants. And we looked at one point like we were on our way to become a really large contractor or maintenance company within the Midlands.
Mhm.
Um, and as all businessmen go through, we scaled way too quick and we burnt through our cash.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the day that my accountant said, "Yeah, I need a word with you. We've got about 8 weeks worth of run rate, and our liabilities were about 30K a month." And I sat there and had to get rid of around 6 staff members within the next 24 hours, which, as you can imagine, was like a bullet to the head,
Oh
because
gosh, yeah.
I had to call 6 separate meetings and I had to tell the truth to these employees that basically we had run out of money,
Mm.
and it was my fault, and I hadn't forecasted correctly, and we'd grown far too quickly, and we took on way too many liabilities, which was a huge learning curve for me.
Yeah.
Um, we did try and save that business. Like all good entrepreneurs, you think you can pivot and you think you can scale yourself out of those issues.
Yeah.
But when you're in a bit of a hole, climbing out of that hole is very difficult. And I actually decided to pivot completely and move into another market. I felt that the landlord market, the margins were low. It was a race to the bottom, and the cost of entry was also very low. Meaning, Dave, with a van and some tools, was competing with me, and I could not compete with Dave because he ran his business out of a van, and I ran it out
Yeah.
of a very plush office in Market Harborough that was costing me about 2K a month. So
Gosh, yeah.
so I went into a new venture, and the plan for me was to exit that business quite quickly. But I wanted to use the skills and experience that I'd gained from scaling a business from sort of £500 to obviously doing seven figures across a couple of years. The next business was in the insurance. It is in the insurance sector that I'm currently a partner in, and I'm looking to exit that business, or I am exiting that business in July. 1st of July is actually my official exit date of that. And from a very small investment into that business, I should be looking at sort of a 30,000 - 40,000 pound return within. And I have had no involvement in that company at all, apart from just sitting on the board and advisory, and putting systems and processes in place in order for that business to scale. That business is now it's going to do sort of 500,000 in its first year, projected to go to seven figures in its second year. However, Michael, I've completely fell out of love with property.
I
As
wonder
all,
why.
it's a tough gig.
Yeah.
And not having the technical knowledge of the build, I'm not a builder myself. I found that I wanted to grow into another market. I wanted to connect with other entrepreneurs that have different experiences, different skill sets, and actually use my best abilities in a different market completely.
Yeah.
And I'm currently going through the stage now of potentially investing in a couple of businesses in completely different markets, doing completely the opposite stuff.
Wow.
Yes. So the
Wow.
construction industry, very difficult, very clunky, a lot of moving parts, high turnovers with quite low profit margins, low gross profit margins, and not a lot of room to make error, which I'm sure we'll get to failure on this conversation. But it's certainly not an industry where you can fail often.
No, no.
I believe that's a very powerful thing to be able to do. Micro failure for me is the reason why I'm sat here today and built quite a nice life for myself at the age of 32. And I'm still only warming up. I'm still only at the beginning of this journey. So in a nutshell, that's sort of my business entrepreneurial journey to date. Several businesses, lots of
Yeah.
experience within them, but still very much a beginner, Michael.
Well, aren't we all? I mean, this is the thing. It's like, as you say, it's an ongoing journey, isn't it? There's always something more to learn. There's always another level that you can grow to.
You don't
And
know what you
so,
don't know.
exactly. Wow. I mean, that's an incredibly powerful sort of journey that you've been on there. And what you're saying there, that there were a few bits that sort of really jumped out at me. I mean, we spoke about this when I was there last week, and we were talking about beginning with the end in mind. It's one of the things I love to talk about when people come and speak to me about my experience, and I offer them advice on how to build a business. So important to have that picture in mind about what are you going to use that business to get you toward, because business is a great vehicle that can
Yes.
help get you to a destination. But if you're not specific, if you don't know what the destination is, business can really quickly take over your life,
Yes.
and you can end up going somewhere completely different to where you plan on being. And that
Yeah.
sounds to me like what you sort of experienced yourself as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
When you're in the businesses, they sort of take you down this way. And you're like, well,
Yeah.
I'm now not doing something I really enjoy anymore,
Yeah.
and I want to get back to here. And
Yeah.
so that's a really key lesson to take away as we build businesses, is to have that picture. It also helps you to build the right way as well. I mean, like you
Yeah.
say, if you're planning, my advice is always build to sell. I think you
Yeah.
agree with that as well.
Yeah.
So So for me, it's so key to have that as your mindset, because it will help navigate you and pull you back where to that path when you are weighing up decisions about whether it's expansion or diversification, whatever it is you're looking to do. You're basically going to take yourself back and ask, is this going to help me to sell this business? Because there are two main types of business, if we're really honest. You've got your lifestyle businesses, which a lot of the people are like myself. The first property business I had was more of a lifestyle business. So that's really where people are looking to break away from their work. They want something to replace their income. And so they set up a business that allows them to live a certain lifestyle. But there's a growth limit on a business like that, because you are thinking about your lifestyle, not about what's actually commercially viable.
Yeah.
Then you've got a business that you can actually sell, a business that actually has a residual value. And that's one of the greatest assets you can build. If you can build a systemized business that down the line you could sell if you wanted to. You don't have to, but if you know that you can sell it, if you know that that business will work with or without you, and in fact, for me, the ultimate measure is, can it work better without you than with you there? Then you have got a winning asset that you shouldn't have any difficulty relinquishing if you choose to, or passing down to the next generation if that's what your goal is. At least be able to pass down something of value.
I
So
agree, but I think with saying that, Michael, we have to be really careful, because there's a lot of there's a lot of people that know deep down they're entrepreneurs and they have an entrepreneurial spirit. And what we don't want to do with conversations like this is put them off starting. Sometimes jumping off the cliff and having a plan on the way down is the way to start. So I think it's a really sensitive subject in general when we talk about building business, and we have this fixation on monetization. We have this fixation on lifestyle and what it can do for you. But actually, if I never got started, then I'd never be here. So I have to be really careful sometimes when I'm talking to certainly entrepreneurs, people that are in employment, that are looking to get out of employment, because sometimes it just takes jumping off the cliff, and you do not know where that leads. Sort of 7, 8 years on into my business journey, I can sit here and say all these great things to you. Let's build a business to sell. Let's actually find a buyer for our business before we've even built it. Now, all of these things are fantastic, but if you're right now listening to this and you're 18 years old and you don't know what you want to do with your life, and you don't know what market to get into, but you know you want a business, just go, because failure is the most important thing for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
It really is. And I know we're going to touch quite a lot on failure and persistence today. And I could only accredit sort of those attributes to where I am today, because I'm a mere mortal like yourself. Left school 16, not educated, I'm not degree educated, but failure has taught me way faster than I could have ever got with the experiences that I've had. So I think we've always got to be really careful that we can have some any age of person that wants to get into business, and sometimes they could be like, whoa, that's a crazy amount of information that I need to take on, and sometimes I say, just pick something you like and get going.
No,
and you're probably gonna fail.
I've yet to meet a successful entrepreneur who hasn't. And you're absolutely right. You've got to bring that balance. You won't always have the full picture in front of you.
Yes.
But the two sides of that conversation are that, obviously, if you can think about that at the beginning, it helps you as you build it out. But more importantly than just the cash value of what it does, it's about knowing that you are doing something that's going to help you fulfill your goals, that you're going to enjoy doing.
And I always attribute it to a car journey. If you're driving at night time right now to Scotland, you're in Northamptonshire, you're going to Scotland and it's night time. You can't see Scotland from your house, Michael, but you can see 6 foot in front of you. And I really like that analogy, because we can't see the full journey, and there might be a road blockage, there might be
Mm,
traffic, we might get diverted, we might have to take a longer route, we might
yeah,
actually have to get a shortcut.
yeah,
However, we can only ever see 6 foot in front of us with our lights. And I think
yeah,
entrepreneurship is very, very, very similar to that analogy, because
yeah,
you will never see the full picture,
yeah,
but you can see the next move, and
yeah,
that's every entrepreneur has one more move, one more move, one more move,
exactly.
and there might be 8 of those that sort of take you around the houses, but that
Hmm.
one move at the right time, and that's where the magic happens. So
Yeah,
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 um,
you're
love
so
that
right.
analogy.
No, I mean, I was actually just about to share that same thing myself, and so, it's true because yeah, as an entrepreneur, you don't know. And this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. Business is full of challenges. As
Yeah,
much as you try and prepare for everything, and even if you're the most organized and detail-oriented person in the world ever, you will still have things that sort of force you to have to make those decisions and force you to pivot.
yeah,
And this was
yeah,
actually one of the things I learned from another good friend of mine, Cam Johal. He was my second mentor in business, and when we were talking about this very topic, he actually opened my eyes because at the time, as I've shared before in this group, my property business was starting to struggle. We had done a very similar thing. We were getting ready to expand, and then we had the rug pulled out from underneath us because of the family situation my wife and I ended up going through. And so our property business started struggling after months and months of us trying to sustain it.
yeah.
And he was very helpful in showing that actually business is about learning when's the right time to pivot and and to take those different steps. And he helped me to see that actually everything that you're doing is a step in that right direction. So that might not be, you might have your first business say, and it could be something as simple as a little e-commerce store.
Yeah.
That might not and probably won't be your last
Yeah.
business. That's going to be your first foot in the door to teach you some lessons about how to do it. And
Yeah.
if it works, great. If it doesn't, as you say, then that's great too, because actually now you've learned A, what doesn't work, and B, if it wasn't the right fit for you, you've learned that too. So now
Yeah.
you
100%.
know, right, I can go down this route. And that's why
100%.
I like yourself, I'm still involved in the space of property, but what I'm building now as a business and what my goal is goes beyond property
Mm.
into an area that I'm actually passionate about, which is helping
Yeah.
other people to succeed and grow in business. So no, those are really good points. I'm
And
glad
it's
you
and
brought
it's and as important as it is for failure, it's important to learn success as well. Because if
them.
you've
Yeah,
never had 6 figures in your bank account before, like I hadn't at the age of 16 with no money, and
yeah,
10 years later was accumulating quite a lot of money, that's difficult too.
yeah, yeah,
Because you give the average person £100,000, what are they going to do with it? Now,
yeah,
someone once said to me, it's very easy to make it, it's very hard to keep it. And
yeah.
I can certainly echo that now.
Oh
Um,
gosh, yeah, yeah. Wow.
and I'm rebuilding as we speak. So don't get me wrong, it's not going to take me long to do it because of the experiences. And you never start from zero, you always start from experience. Um,
Yeah, yeah. So
but
true.
that's even just as difficult as failure, is actually understanding, wow, we've got quite a lot of money here. What the hell
Mm.
do we do with it?
Yeah,
Now, if you do what I did, you might run out quite quickly because you scale something that can't be scaled. So it's fantastic you sort of just mentioned on mentorship there. And I think everybody, and it's not even mentorship, but I think again, this
Mm,
goes to network in general. If you have people in your life, family members or friends of family members that you can tap into, and you can say, tell me about your first business. And they say,
mm,
oh, well, I built that to 7 figures and I lost everything. They're the stories that give you the
yeah,
real value. Now,
yeah,
we can all sit on YouTube and we can all sit and watch these entrepreneurs tell us that you can go from 0 to 100 million. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of it's really inaccurate, because
it is.
a lot of it's failure and a lot of
Mm,
it is losing. So
yeah.
if you can fail often and quickly, you are very, very much more likely to succeed.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And you've got to be able to risk it and go, if tomorrow I wake up with zero, I
yeah,
will go again.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is the power of entrepreneurship. And if anybody's got that within them, I would put the farm on that they're going to get there eventually.
yeah,
So yeah, very
exactly.
good stuff, Michael.
No, exactly, and that feeds back into what we are saying about the analogy with the gym. You know, you're in a race against yourself. I was when I was there today, actually, really jumped out at me because obviously, I was in the free weights area and you've got all the benches lined out, and you've got different people of different sizes doing different weights, and it's so easy to look and go, oh my gosh, he's doing like he's got 50 kilo weights in his hands. I've only got 30s or they've got tens, and the thing is, what we that's actually a completely irrelevant thing because
Yeah,
it's all about your strength
yeah,
compared to where you were before and your
yes,
relative strength for you. And that's
yeah,
different for everybody. And it's the same thing as you say in business. It's like it's nice to look around and to see these things, but actually, you are in that race with yourself.
yeah,
And
always.
if you just have that drive, that's the key thing. That will help pull you through and get you to success in the right time. And then when you get there, you're ready for it. You know that you know to expect the unexpected and to face those challenges, and they don't put you off. Because yeah, again, as you said, when you have the money, the hardest thing then becomes to keep it. Personally, the world suddenly opens up. You can buy whatever you
Want it
want.
from you, Michael. They want to take it from you quickly, and
Exactly,
they
exactly,
can.
exactly. And same
And
same thing from a business perspective. It's so easy, as we've both experienced with trying to scale. If you scale too fast and
mm,
you something drastic happens as you weren't expecting, then all of a sudden you've now put all that money into that, and that's now gone, and you can't recoup that. Although saying that money can always be made back. But what I mean is, obviously, in that business, it's a sunk cost.
yeah, no,
So,
certainly. And
so yeah,
it's like building a business is like building a castle,
yeah,
and you can build your castle, but you want to put a moat round it. I want alligators in my moat. That if anyone tries to take my castle, they have to get
yeah,
through the alligators on the moat. And
yeah,
it's so true because we're all focused on building this beautiful castle and we've built this thing and it's fantastic. But where is your moat and where did you build it? Did you build it on
yeah,
a hill so you can see the enemy coming? Or did you build it at the bottom of a hill so they can easily infiltrate it?
yeah,
And you don't know that until you get to that level.
yeah,
I could talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face, but if you right now are just starting out as an entrepreneur, you will not listen and you will say, I just want to make loads of money. Well, that's
mm,
fantastic. Wait until you get it. And it's a completely different game.
yeah,
So, and I think with other business owners that have sort of been to that level, I've got friends that have even gone above that, and we're talking 5 to 10s of millions of pounds of turnover. The main game for them now is security and
yeah,
actually protecting the asset they've got. Building
exactly.
an asset is one phase. Once
Yeah.
the asset's built, that has to be protected.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But you don't really know it until you've built it. So yeah, good luck to
Yeah,
someone that is building something right now, and I hope they get
absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can tap into your network and find
Mm.
somebody who's lost some money and say, how do I not do that?
No, you're absolutely right. And actually, I'll sort of round that bit off by sharing the one thing another thing that Cam shared at the time with me. He goes, everybody who wants to, whatever level you're going towards, there's a cost of entry to that
Yeah,
level, and
100%.
and that's what you've got to look at. You will have moments where you fail. You will have moments where you lose. And we're talking about financially as well as in terms of maybe just the business sort of shutting down or whatever.
Mm,
And that is the cost of entry to the next level. So he said every millionaire has lost hundreds of thousands on the way to
yes.
becoming a millionaire. Every multi-millionaire has lost millions on the way to becoming a multi-millionaire. And billionaires
Yes.
have lost tens of millions or more.
And
So
billions.
yeah, exactly. And you get accustomed to that because you know that actually that's part
Yeah,
of that journey. And
100%.
I mean, my dad used to say, you either win or you learn. So
Yeah.
that's the way to look at it. You're either winning or
As,
you're
as
learning.
long as you have the mindset of looking for the lesson in failure, you are going to be
There you
absolutely
go.
fine.
There you go.
It has to be like that. And I think I read a stat the other day, and I don't know if it's true, but it said the average millionaire in America is failed, had seven and a half businesses failed, and sounds about right. So
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
it just goes to show, and I mean, there's a lot of people in America, and it's a big market. I wonder what the stats would be in England. It'd probably be a bit less, but
Mm.
it just goes to show you that actually failure is thinly aligned to success as it can be, and them small margins can define the success from the failure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a great topic, and it's something in my life that I've always walked a real tightrope between success and failure, and it really has been a tightrope. And sometimes I've fell off, and sometimes I've carried on walking. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's great for somebody to hear that's just starting out, or if anybody's going through something right now where they think they're
Mm.
failing. Great, that's exactly where you should be. And it's something you can certainly get out of, and or you can
Yeah.
pivot, like you say. And there's a real buzzword of creating lean businesses at the minute that are able to
Mm.
pivot and able to enter different marketplaces. And although it's a buzzword, I do agree with it that
Mm.
as long as you don't fail to the point of bankruptcy and you've lost everything, even if you have, you can start again. There's
Yeah.
lots of
Yeah.
different things we could talk about with that. But if you've still got some skin in the game and you've still got some money and you can pull some resources from somewhere, you can always go again.
Yeah.
As long as you've been acting ethical and you're sticking to the laws, then there's no reason that living in a great country like this, you can't just pick up and go again the next day.
Yeah.
Um,
So true.
Failure is never final, ever.
Yeah, I was just about to say I've got another little
Yeah.
I've got another little catchphase I use, which is that
We've obviously
success
been
isn't.
reading the same books.
Yeah, probably, and that's another value. Something I think is really important. Reading
Yeah,
wide and what and well is key.
100%.
But yeah, the catchphrase that I have it, memorized is that success isn't permanent and failure isn't fatal.
Yes,
So
100%.
if you keep that in
100%.
mind, then that will help you to make those right decisions at the right time.
I
And
agree.
as we've said so much today, I think this is probably the real theme that's sort of coming out of the talk tonight is that actually failure is a part of the journey,
Yeah,
and you
100%.
will if you just have that right attitude, which is a teachable attitude. You
Mm,
look for the lesson in what you're going through. Then
mm,
every time you do hit that failure, then you'll come away with an experience, and that
yeah,
experience can never be taken away. Remember,
yeah,
people can take away your money, they can take away your house, any of your
yeah.
assets, but they can never take away the knowledge and the experience that you build along the way. And
True.
that's why you can't keep someone down who has had a success in life because they they've got that knowledge, that expertise that
Mm,
stays with them. So actually, as you say, you get to failure, you can start again, and this time you can start faster
yeah.
with
No, I agree.
clarity. So
And we're in a really strange time of entrepreneurship anyway. I mean, 40 years ago, no one really cared about entrepreneurs. 80
mm,
years ago, no one cared. Um, but since obviously the sort of the tech boom of Facebook and Silicon Valley and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos, entrepreneurship's become cool.
yeah,
So you will now see people on Instagram with Lamborghinis and bags of cash, and it's all fake.
yeah,
It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as passive income and sitting on a beach in bloody Colombia whilst collecting bags of money. It doesn't work, and it will never work. The problem is that we've now put entrepreneurship up there with singers and actors, and
mm,
everybody wants to do it, which is fantastic. But where the younger generation or older generation who are getting into entrepreneurship need to realize it really is a dedication. It is time.
yeah,
It is sacrifice, and there is a lot of failure there. You're not going from zero to Lamborghini in a week.
yeah,
And if you're only doing it for a Lamborghini, you probably won't ever get there. And that's just my humble opinion. The money for me is just a scorecard of how I'm getting on a day-to-day. I mean, when we were doing sort of six-figure months and you're thinking, if I can carry this on, I'm going to be a millionaire and I'm going to buy a holiday home in bloody Spain. It's the wrong mindset to be in.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's a really long journey, and the
Yeah.
fruits of it's like building a garden. You don't, as soon as your flowers start to produce, you don't pick them. You continue to water them and you continue to let that garden grow. And hopefully one day, at a nice humble age of about 60, hopefully sooner, you'll probably be able to live the lifestyle that you do want. But a lot of what I speak to, especially young entrepreneurs, they just have this real muddled mindset about actually what entrepreneurship is. And there's some great people out there that would be a great number 3 in a business and not particularly a number 1. And I think that's the first step to realize, are you an entrepreneur? Are you a leader? Are you somebody that can take on these great responsibilities? Or are you a fantastic business operator and you would be a brilliant number 2? Because the number 2 at Just Eat, he's doing way better than I am, my friend. So
yeah, no, that's so true. You know,
has to be some self-awareness there as well before you even get started.
And that again, that goes back to this whole idea of the begin with the end in mind. So know what it is that what it is you want, because you know some people don't actually want the life of the entrepreneur. So you've got to be really real with yourself and say, actually, is this what I really, really want? Because
that's called entrepreneurship, Michael, which is
exactly
working in a business, but in an entrepreneurial setting. And do you know what? I've thought about it many times. I just can't do it.
Yeah, but it's about being self-reflective. If there's one thing I can encourage anybody who would be exploring getting into any form of business, whether it's property or anything else, is do that as part of your beginning work. Think about what it is you want out of life, what that business is going to be that vehicle for, and is that what you really want? Because the truth is this: we need entrepreneurs. Absolutely, you know, entrepreneurs help create the businesses that helps economies thrive. But entrepreneurs need people to actually help bring those visions to reality. This is what I love with capitalism in its purest essence. Yes. Is the idea of everybody winning and everybody having something of value that they bring into the mix and getting something of value out of it. And any entrepreneur who's worth their salt will know that they can only do what they do because they've got good people who help them to do that.
100%.
That for me has been a lesson. Again, this goes back to that network. Surround yourself with good people. That includes your business. Because you need those people. You can only do so much on your own. Actually, I feel this would be a really good time to share what we were doing last week, because I came in to see Saul and we sat down in his office and I was talking to him about the business, and he had this sort of revelation for me, and I'd been talking to him about business plans and and things, and I went away and I was like, you know what? I think you might be onto something. I think that's actually not good. I was gonna put out a post saying business plans are bullshit, but I didn't know if I wanted to go and find that. But in context, what I mean by this is we did an exercise called mind mapping. And what we did was Saul looked through my business and helped me map out what that business was going to actually look like. And the reason why I came away from that with the questions over the business plan was because with this mind map, we were able to, in the space of what, half an hour, just get this bird's eye view of the business and all the different functions it would have, the different requirements it would have, the requirements I would need in order to be able to bring it about, but then also where it can add value down the line, and that's included opportunities for monetizations. That when we spoke about this in the context of business plans, when you have just a piece of paper in front of you, you just can't see. So Saul, what was it that introduced you to that? Because you said this has been a bit of revolutionary for you as well. So come across that.
That was that mind mapping for me was information obviously I've took from somewhere, and it was from an entrepreneur, and his name escapes me, which is really bad. But basically, mind mapping. Let's do some mind mapping, and put some context to it. So let's say you love making cakes.
Yep.
So what you would do is you would write in the middle of your mind map, and so you do your first circle, and in the middle of there you want to make the best cakes in your area. Then you do a second circle following that. Now the second circle is, how is the business? How do we make money from this, or how do we build brand from this? Now, what you can start doing is branching off of this second circle. So you can do social media advertisement. You can send free samples to people. You could jump on a bakery podcast. You could sell merchandise. You could connect with other cake makers. You could do a little Facebook challenge against another cake maker and go out into the town centre and say, whose cake's better? You could do lots and lots and lots of different things. And what your mind map will do, and whether, depending on what type of person you are, you might be someone that doesn't want to go on camera. So it might be that you start writing a lot of copy. But what your mind map will do is it will allow you to be lean and nimble within your approach to building your company, rather than this sort of rigorous, solid business plan that you have to follow no matter what. And there's no real flexibility there at times because your plan doesn't allow it. Whereas mind mapping can lead to lots of different things. Yeah. So it might be that on your mind map, making cakes, it might be you want to go into a bakery competition, which would then give you the exposure to create your own cake mix brand.
Yeah.
Then where do you go from there? Well, I'd like to sell it at local shops, at supermarkets. Maybe I need to raise some investment. So again, on your second circle, you can start going, well, I need an investment. I need to create social media advertisement. And you can literally go through what's in your brain and put it onto that page, rather than an 80-page document that, quite frankly, are really boring to read. And they financially project all these beautiful numbers that in reality, half the time they don't hit, or they're just figures picked from thin air. And I know we spoke about this when you were in the office about actually, when do I monetize what I've got? And I've always been a big believer of he who or she who holds their breath the longest wins. And if you was a local cake maker, do it for free. Build your brand for free. Go around and knock doors and give people your cakes and get a really good reputation. And if that costs you a couple of £1,000 to go around and create cakes for free and drop into certain events, or why not sponsor an event, a local networking event, and say, hey, we're cake makers, we want to sponsor your event, and we're going to put a little stand here and it's all free. All right, it might cost you some money. You do that for a year, 2 years, 3 years, you'd be massively surprised that you would build a lot of attention. Now, with that attention, you would then monetize that attention. And that can be in lots of different ways, as we went through with your mind map. So mind mapping is a really, really powerful tool to use, because it really allows you to follow your purpose rather than just looking at the financial projections of your purpose. Now, when we're all born, money is a man-made thing. So I believe that every single person on the planet right now, all 7-8 billion of us, we're all born with one purpose in mind, and that's deep ingrained inside of us. Now, money doesn't know that. Money is a completely different thing to purpose. Now, when you match purpose and you match monetization and you focus on the customer and you create a fantastic product or service, that's when you get wealthy. So if you look at the top wealthy people in the world, or even the top wealthy people in your town, they've found purpose, they've focused on the customer or the problem, and they've delivered a service or product to solve that. Them things together is the recipe for success. Gotcha. But if you don't know what your purpose is, mind map it. Write down problems on a bit of paper that pisses you off. What annoys you? And it could be anything. It could be, I don't like paying for parking. All right, figure it out, solve it. It might be, it
Yeah,
might be absolutely anything on
yeah,
there. It might be, I hate waiting at a queue in my local tanning salon. Set up your own tanning salon.
yeah,
It could be anything, and we're
yeah,
all different. And I believe our purposes are built from what annoys us personally,
yeah,
and what we are deep down really, 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 really irritates us. And I think I built my well second business because I was irritated with the service that I was getting from contractors, and I was needing 4 or 5 contractors for 4 or 5 different issues at a property. As you know, Michael,
mm,
if I've got a roof tile and a boiler's broke down and the kitchen sink's leaking, the carpet's worn and a tile's popped off the wall, I need 5 contractors. Now, to a management company, that is an absolute nightmare. So it
mm,
pissed me off. And I thought, I'm changing this. I'm going to
mm,
create a service that is a one-stop shop. It's one business, one brand, one contact. And this is going to be a dream. And it worked and we scaled, and obviously we know the rest. But yeah, I think if you don't know your purpose, it's a really good way of looking at actually what don't you like
yeah.
about the world. So sorry, I digress there, but yeah, mind mapping
No,
is
that's
fantastic tool. And if
yeah,
anybody on your network or anybody that you know would like to do a quick mind mapping session, I'll be more than happy to do it. Because once you know how to
yeah,
do it, you can run off, you could mind map the rest of your life. You could mind map your perfect partner. You could mind map your perfect holiday or the perfect place you want to live in the world.
yeah,
If I wanted to live in Monaco, I write Monaco, and how do I get there? Right, okay, well, I need to save money for a flight. Okay, well, I need to earn money while I'm in Monaco. Let's start mind mapping this thing.
yeah.
And I think there's such a powerful tool, and
They
all
are.
entrepreneurs should be mind mapping most part before they even get going into business, or if you've got a current business, mind map where you want to go. It is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I really love that because again, it allows you to get that 360 view,
Yeah.
and it engages that creative faculty of your mind.
Yes.
And one thing I will say, in addition to this, it's so good when you can actually mind map with someone else. Again,
Yeah.
when Saul and I work together, because but the power of two minds coming
Yeah.
together is
100.
exponentially greater than you on your own as you're all going, oh, this. But actually, even if that's what you can do at the moment, and you're like, okay, right, I need to figure out what I'm going to do, then that's a really great place to start because you can lay everything down and you can see clearly what you need to work on. And what I really love about what Saul was talking about there, about holding your breath the longest, this is one of the things that I have in one of my course modules that I teach people about. It's one of the things I've come across time and again in networking, is that the person who builds a powerful network is someone who knows how to add value first.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it's the same thing in business when it comes to serving, because your customers are basically a part of your network. They might be very loose connections, but they are a part of your business network. They are stakeholders. And good businesses add value, and they build their brands and their reputations on adding value. And I think it's one of these concepts that can sometimes be lost when you do focus on the money. And again, this comes up in networking as well. It's so easy to sniff someone who's just chasing after the money.
Yeah.
And anybody who has it, they don't like that
Yeah.
because they know they've been around
You
the
want to
block.
take it. You've got
Yeah,
to get over
exactly.
my moat, and there's crocodiles.
Exactly. So what Saul says there in terms of going out there and thinking of these creative ways that you can really just give value. It
Yeah.
may sound counterintuitive, but actually they are such great ways of building up that personal brand. Because one of the brilliant advantages of the age we live in is that the word brand has evolved. We think of brands as companies like Coca-Cola or McDonald's who have paid millions or billions to occupy your mental space because of the advertising that they do. So when you think I'm thirsty, right, I think of Coke. Coke paid billions to
Same.
get me to think of that. But we have this powerful tool that we're on right now that
Yeah.
that allows us to actually become our own brands.
Yeah.
And a good brand is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, and what
And
is a brand, Michael? It's characteristics. And you're
yeah,
a brand. If you're
yeah,
honest, you've
yeah.
got integrity, you want to help others, you're selfless. They're
Mhm.
brands. So your business brand and your personal brand might not align, but they've got to be similar.
yeah,
So I would never build a brand that was like a shark and we wanted money, and I'd never build that sort of brand. But there's people that's fine, and if that's their mentality and they wake up and I'm a shark today and I'm gonna take everything, that's
yeah,
fine. They will go on to probably
mm,
build a good business. But if your
yeah,
brand's a little bit different and you're a bit different to that, and money might not be your driver, helping people might be your driver,
mhm,
creating the best product should always be the driver,
yeah,
then you can actually start. I think anybody now in sort of 2024 moving forwards has to have a personal brand. I don't think you
yeah,
build big business in the future without a personal brand,
yeah,
but you can leverage both.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and they don't need to be the same thing. They can be different, and your personal brand can be a bit different, and your business brand can be a bit different, but they've got to intertwine. They've almost got to be cousins, I think. They don't need
Yeah,
to be brother and sister.
yeah,
But yeah, power of brand is like you say is fantastic, and it
absolutely.
feeds back into your networking and what you're trying to achieve. Michael is empowering people to build their own personal brand,
Yeah,
and doing that through a network is one of the best places to do. Hence why we're jumping on this call at sort of 9 o'clock on a Thursday night to talk about
yeah,
business.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
because we're brand building,
Yeah,
and they're the steps you have to take, and it takes time. I think a good brand can take you 10 years to build, and it can
mm,
take you 10 minutes to lose.
yeah,
um
yeah. You've got to guard it with your life. Again,
so
it's the you've got to get those crocodiles back out and
yeah,
build that
you've got
moat
to get
around
your
you, man.
crocodiles back out. You like that one?
I do, I do. But you know what's really powerful with this as well is that when what you're saying is so true. And one of the misconceptions a lot of people have about getting into business, certainly building a network, is that you think, oh my gosh, I have to have this really huge network in order to be able to be successful. Now, obviously, if you do have a big network, the bigger network, the more connections you have, the more help you can benefit from down the line. You know, if you've got lawyers and accountants and advisors, it's great. But in reality, and this was my own personal experience in property, if you can build a brand and attract the people to you
Yes.
that you want to work with and who want to work with you, that's so important. We spoke about this.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
it's a
and
committed relationship.
it's
You want to
exactly the
have
same as the mind mapping, isn't it, Michael?
yeah,
Where on your mind map you can write tribe. Who's your tribe?
yeah,
Now, if I said to you right now, tomorrow I'll give you £10 for every yellow car you find, you're going to ring me up and say, I've seen 1,500 today, Saul, because I've driven up and down the M1 all day. But if I said to you, who's your perfect tribe, and you
yeah,
described them to me, or you mind maps that, and you said, and you can go to anything, it could be
yeah,
height, it could be absolutely anything to who your perfect tribe are. Um, don't discredit smaller people, of course, but you really have to understand who that tribe is and
yeah,
who you want to actually attract into your life, and you will attract them like you
yeah,
will see yellow cars if you look for them. So
absolutely.
I think that's again a really powerful tool for anybody that's building business. Because if you're at the beginning right now on your journey, you probably don't need a solicitor because you got no money to take. So
Hmm.
you crocodile in the moat. One of them is a solicitor, and one of them is an accountant. One of them is a financial advisor. You don't really need that stuff at the beginning. That's sort
Yeah,
of when the money starts to come, and that's when you start employing or you
yeah,
start attracting these type of people into your life. But at the beginning, friends and family are the best network that you can count on because
absolutely.
they're the people that are going to support you. Might get a loan like I did. Very fortunate enough to get a modest £500 loan, but I still got it. And these people are going to also support you when you fail and say,
Yeah,
"Come on, pick your chin up, let's go again." And if you're unfortunate as a person that you don't have that family around you or that network of close friends, then it's really important you go and find your tribe.
yeah,
And as soon as you start mind mapping who those people are, you know where to look for them.
yeah.
So, for example, like yourself as a man of faith, very good place for you, Mike, to be to go to the church because you will
Who'd have thought?
find similar people there.
Yeah.
It might be one day that you have a franchise model. You might want to go to church and you might want to meet people there that have a very similar, your tribe. So it's really important that we actually determine who we want to look up to, who we want to aspire to be, and who we want to actually, because business work, it only works when you work with people you like. If
Yeah.
you work with people you don't like, and your customers you don't like, and they don't like you, and your clients don't like, or suppliers, it
That's a
never
nightmare.
works. It's a nightmare. So
It's
in your mind mapping, even if you're a baker in your local town, who do you want to sell your cakes to? Do you
yeah,
want to sell your cakes to a certain type of demographic? Only you will know that. But again, that's
absolutely.
the power of mind mapping.
Yeah.
It can give you that avatar of that perfect customer or that
Oh gosh,
perfect
yeah.
business partner or co-founder. And I mean, I could do a whole hour on co-founders. So
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, again, you see, guys, this is the thing. Where when you get minds together, it's like you can have these kind of free-flowing conversations that
yeah,
go all over the place, but all along the same lines about how you build a really great business.
yeah,
And you know, this is so powerful. Well, what I was going to say about the network as well, this is an encouragement for anybody who thinks like that they need to have a big one. If you look at a lot of people in property or people in business, you'll find that often their success came from a very small network. I was surprised when I got into property how quickly I was able to scale from just a few investors. I didn't need 20, 30, 40, 50 different investors to build a large portfolio. You actually only need maybe three or four ones that are the right fit for you, because the truth be told, you don't actually know what people have in the background. And this is what happened with me when I met Safi. I interviewed him here a couple of weeks back, and it was an absolute revelation to me, because I never for the life of me thought I'd meet someone like him so quickly in my business. I had no experience. I was starting this new property business. I'd only been going for a week. And then this guy comes and asks to come on to a viewing with me. And from there, he then says, right, if you find some properties, I'll invest with you. And then before I know it, I blink and the guy's offered to pay for a mentorship program that cost the best part of 20 grand for me. And I just could not believe it, because you just never, when you're not used to this, you think, oh my gosh, this, as Saul said earlier, you don't know what you don't know, and you just don't know that about people. This is what happens. A lot of people who you build relationships with, as they get to know you, what you're looking to do is build trust. There are three things you need in order to be really successful in life and in business. And if you want people to, especially if you want people to actually buy from you, people need to know you, like you, and trust you. And trust is one of the ones that takes time. And what a lot of your network will do,
brand.
and exactly, this is where the brand is so important. This is why what the giving value first is absolutely the way you have to go, because the people that you're coming into contact with, they won't tell you, but they will be in the background examining what you do, and they'll be looking, first of all, do your actions match your words? Anybody can come on and talk and say, I'm the best thing since sliced bread, and I'm going to make you millions, and in fact, I'm going to pay you billions in returns because I'm the greatest entrepreneur that's ever lived. Anybody can say that, but not everybody can actually walk the walk.
Yeah,
So people will sit back on the sidelines, and they will look and they'll watch in to see what you do. And if they do start working with you, and this is what happened with me, this is what happened with my mentors, as they start working with you, they will release a little bit, and they'll say, right, okay, go and find me a property that you say will be good. Okay, so if you say you can find me good properties that will cash flow me, right, go and find one. And when you find it, I'll bankroll that. And yeah, I've got the money to be able to do that. So they'll go away, you'll go away and you go and find that. And they'll take, actually, I've got another 5 grand burning a hole in my back pocket. Well, I see what you've done there. That's really good. I'm really enjoying what you're doing. Can you take that and I'll go and find another? And and this is what happens. This is how great business relationships are built. It's on that foundation of trust. So again, you don't need a massive network to get started. But
Right.
what you need to do is make sure that you invest in building your personal brand, in
Yeah.
understanding your value, in understanding the expectations that you're going to have and that you're going to place on anybody you interact with, especially business partners or investors. You want to be clear on that because, again, we've touched upon it, but this is true. It's like being in a marriage. When you go into business with people, you want to be in business with people who you like, who you can communicate with, and where most business relationships fail, just like most personal relationships fail, is over inconsistent expectations. So I think you're going to do it, and you think I'm going to do it, and we're not clear. But ultimately, that goes down to a lack of communication. So again, that's a part of the process. I encourage people to really think about because it's so foundational, and that's what has allowed people like myself and Safi and the other people that I've worked with over the years to still be, in business together in different ways and wanting to work with each other after
Yeah.
so many years, and that's all about that brand. So I'm conscious all that time is running
Yeah,
away
that's
from us.
fine.
We've kind of we've covered so much
We
of
could
what I
go
wanted
all
to
night,
ask you.
couldn't we, Michael?
Oh my God, I would, Maybe we could go for the Guinness World Record of the longest ever business Zoom.
I've got a fiance who's probably quite desperate for me to get back. So,
Mm,
but no, thank you ever so much for having me on, and hopefully one person watches this and they can take some value, and
yeah, yeah,
they it might just help one person, and I think that's really deep down why we're doing it. So,
yeah, yeah.
I'd also like to say if anybody on your network who needed any sort of guidance. I don't profess to be any sort of guru at all. However, I just go off my own experiences, and yeah, hopefully we might be able to help a few people as well.
Absolutely, man. Well, I've got two things to finish off with then. The first one is
Okay.
if I could ask you for one piece of advice that you'd give an entrepreneur looking to get started, after everything that we've spoken about, what do you think would be your one bit of advice you'd give them going
Be
into business?
brave. Be brave. Be brave. Don't
That's a good
listen.
one.
Don't listen to opinions of people that haven't been where you want to go. That's a big one. Um, but yeah, have the courage to give it a go, I think,
Yeah,
because you never know where that leads you. And you most likely fail the first time, and the second time, and the third time. But yeah, just I think have that courage to believe in yourself, and
yeah,
you can teach yourself all these skills that we're talking about, and all these things we've been talking about tonight are all very learnable skills that even mere mortals like ourselves can learn. Um, so you are good enough. You will always be good enough. And if you're brave and you have the conviction to follow your dreams and to learn what you need to learn, you'll get there. So yeah, be
amazing.
brave.
Amazing. No, thank you. I would echo that. That's a really good bit of advice. I could go on a tangent now and share an anecdote, but I'm not going to. I'll save that for another call. But what I will finish off by asking you is one of the things I do on I've got a website, a community I've set up, and it is free for anybody who wants to get involved. It's called penconnect.co.uk, and it's where I'm building a hub for entrepreneurs to get together, collaborate, and just help each other grow. Basically, bring in all the benefits of like a mentorship. As well as a really engaged network into a safe space for entrepreneurs. And one idea I had with that, I've been working on it, is building a book club because as we've spoken about already on the call, reading is such a key part of this journey. I've got a massive. I'm not the biggest reader of books per se, but I have a massive Audible library. So I've got
Yeah.
hundreds of titles in there. I consume content by listening to it, podcasts, those kind of things. They write up my alley. But I also have a number of books that I go through as well. And I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite that you could recommend to anybody
Oh.
who wants to learn about how to be this crazy type of person called an entrepreneur?
I could give you a few, but I'd say one of the ones for me personally that had sort of the most profound sort of impact on me was Gary V's jab jab right hook. For anybody that doesn't know who Gary V is, who's looking to build personal brand or be in digital advertising or just generally attract customers and create content, he's a fantastic entrepreneur to listen to. His stories, his message does not change. It is the same as it has been for the last 10 years, and that's because it works and it's true. So yeah, he's a fantastic entrepreneur, and jab jab right hook really did help me. And I think you could get a lot of value from that book, especially in modern entrepreneurship. And this guy, Russian immigrant, landed in America with nothing, built one of the biggest online wine e-commerce stores in America, and he's now gone on to build one of the largest, fastest growing marketing agencies in the world.
Wow.
He is a fantastic human being, full of energy. And I think that if anyone's listening and they want something to inspire them, definitely go and read that book and listen to some Gary V on YouTube. It can't it's only a benefit for your life.
And you know what? This gives us takes us a perfect end because again, this is the benefit of the network. It's a book I haven't actually read, so I'm going to
Read
go
it,
down that.
Michael.
Got an Audible credit that's landed this month. I'm going to go and make that my download. I'm going to listen to it. It's going to be brilliant. There you go. You've rounded us off really nicely. Saul, thank you so much.
No, you're more than
You're an
welcome.
absolute
Thank you.
gentleman, and I've really loved the conversation tonight.
You too. All the
Yeah,
best, and we'll catch up soon anyway, Michael.
yeah, we will. Awesome, man.
Have a good evening. Take care.
You
See you
too.
later.
Take care. Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Guys, what a call. What a call. I told you I had a treat for you tonight. So, look, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for bearing with us running a bit late. The reason for it was there was a bit of a technical issue. Facebook had changed the way the live broadcast was supposed to go live. So if you're watching on Facebook, I'm sorry if you missed the first part of it. But yeah, hopefully going forward, that's now all sorted because I got everything configured correctly. We will continue with these calls every week. And like Saul said, if I really hope, it's my sincere hope that these calls that we do, these lives, these sessions that we have, really do add value to you, that they bring something that helps not just inspire you to take action, but that actually helps you gain clarity on what you're doing and just keep going. You know, as I said at the beginning of this call, we were talking about persistence. That was the theme that came up time and time again. It's been in Saul's journey, it's been in mine. Uh, you know, just know that you are good enough. Know that you can do this, and just if you do fall, if you do struggle, just pick yourself back up again, and no one will be able to keep you down for long. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Have a great evening, and I will see you all next week on the next call. Take care for now. Bye.